Greetings and hello, Augies worldwide. I'm Dave Kassler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, and welcome to the Thursday evening live stream, which I guess is technically 0100 Friday UTC, but welcome. And on the 30th of July here, or the 31st, depending where in the world you might be. I just want to point out that I had an unusually high number today of garbled questions. KE6YDO, George Fisher W0XS, N0JL, Lewis Victor Echo 3 Tango Whiskey Whiskey, and Dave Glass W0OXB. I apologize, but your questions came through garbled. There is an issue with my website. I know there is, and I don't know why it does it. I thought for a while it was just because somebody wasn't filling out the form properly or so on. But then I heard from Dave Anderson, who said that he was extremely careful filling out the form, and it still ended up on the garbled list here. So, heard a number of new things here. People, let's see, got to pound in 8 ground rods from my panel to the second story shack. 8-foot ground rod, 8-foot ground rod anyway. Oh, I actually made a live stream. Philip Muth, welcome. Sean McGrath, hello, how are you? Yes, I am chomping at the bit to get into my plane. I'm going down on Sunday to Arizona, and we'll spend several days down there trying to get some training from CFI down there, who is expert on the RANs, and will help me figure out what to do. And I'll either stay long enough to actually get the sport pilot license, or at least to make major headway on it. And then he and I will fly the airplane back here to Colorado. I have already procured a hangar. It was $265 a month for about a 30 by 40 foot hangar, which is more than big enough for the airplane. And to me, that seems like about what you'd pay for a storage unit at one of these public storage places or whatever. I'm kind of curious. I've never rented a storage unit. I figure if I don't have room for it at home, I shouldn't have it. So, of course, our house is packed, but that's another story. Now my wife wants me to move all the stuff that's in the garage up to the hangar, and I'm just renting it. It's for airplanes. Let's see. Got to pound in ground rods. Yes, somebody had a question in here about ground rods. Had really rough ground, was only able to get a ground rod in 4 feet, and asked if he could parallel that with another 4-foot ground rod, and the answer is yes, if you keep them about 4 to 5 feet apart. Otherwise, they act as one ground rod. Got to use the trimmer around the DX Commander until the radials are further embedded. I ordered my DX Commander, as pointed out, with channel funds. So thank you. It's yours, antenna. I've ordered the DX Commander. So now Callum said he was going to send me something. Now he's got an order for it, so send me something. I kind of like that better. I'm all 39CR. J39CR in the island of Grenada. Imagine it's Grenada down there. Pronounced Grenada here in the U.S. for some reason, I don't know. But John, welcome. Welcome to you. Radials, if you put them down, what some people do is they get an edger, which consists of a circular knife, sort of like a pizza cutter, but on a long stick, and you slice the grass, and as you slice it, right behind it, you push the wire into the slot. And that way you get the wire just underground. And then that way you don't catch it with the lawnmower, or hope that you don't catch it with the lawnmower. Passed the advanced with 13 word per minute in 79 at the Tampa FCC office on the first try. And based on what I'd learned in Navy Electronics School. Good. Let's see. Neil is the CW guy. Gonna have to put some type of ham station in your man cave. Man cave, yes. Yes. Let's see. Which model did I order, Dave? I ordered the DX Commander, the standard vertical, whatever it is. It's the, I think he calls it the classic. That's the one I got. Philip Muth, W0RHP, thank you for the first Super Chat of the evening. Very much appreciated. Super Chat is one of the several ways that you can help fund this channel. What Philip provided here, of course, a little bit goes to YouTube, but it goes into channel funds, which I can use to like procure pieces of equipment to test, get new audio equipment, whatever it may be, get the thing set up right. Mike got his extra last month. Congratulations to you. Can you speak to your experience with the Step IR, Big IR, and your thought of having it elevated and using elevated radials? I don't know that I would try. It seems to me conceptually, it just feels like a ground-mounted antenna. You could mount it up to a foot off the ground and keep your radials a foot off the ground if you wanted to. If you go up more than about 10 feet, now remember you're dealing with something that's 33 feet high already. It's a full-size quarter wave on 40 meters, so it's tall. It's really designed to be put on the ground. I would recommend that and recommend ground radials if you can. Yeah, the DX Commander Fund there. Thank you, Philip. Can you speak to your, let's see, as far as the antenna itself, it's a great antenna. Now, again, like all verticals, this is designed to have radials. And so there are a lot of radials. I think I have 38 radials, various lengths out there. Lots of shorter radials is generally considered better than fewer longer radials. I've got radials of all different lengths on that thing. And it is a sweet antenna. It performs very, very nicely. Now, mind you, it is an expensive antenna, but it's designed in such a way that you can add a tuning coil. It's an active coil with relay switches in there that allows you to tune it on 80. And I got that for it. Now, being a vertical, it's going to be within 3 dB, give or take, of any vertical. They're all about the same, and it's going to be about the same performance as a dipole. So, I mean, there's nothing spectacular. It's not like it's a great big antenna or something. Now, one caveat to that, on 17 and above, the tape that's inside can go up to a 3/4 wavelength instead of just a 1/4 wavelength. And you can get a little bit flatter pattern doing that and get some gain. Mike Sage, thank you very much. He seems to be amused there. If elevated, how would I deal with the radials? Elevated verticals require tuned radials. That is exactly correct. And they only need 2 or 3 of them. But you got to get it up about 10 feet. But and that thing's 33 feet tall. It's got an arm on it. It's going to have to be a very stout mast, very well guyed, and the antenna itself needs guying. So, then the radial wires did it on their own. Yeah, the radial wires don't have to be thick. They carry current, but if there's 10 radials, each carries 1/10 of the current that's in the vertical. Okay, so if you've got 30 radials, each carries 1/30 of the current. So you can put out pretty thin radials. Now, as it turns out, mine are 12 gauge wire, THHN wire from Home Depot. It's 7 strands, and it's insulated. I do recommend insulated wire for radials. And note, keep the ends where kids or pets or wildlife can't get to them because they can get shocked by the ends of those radials. Okay, yes, I'm going to be looking forward to the DX Commander review myself with great interest. Okay, I've heard, well, no, Joe, that's not really true. Radials work, or verticals work just fine. I would recommend a dipole if you can do it. Now, if you get like the reference dipole, which is the MFJ 2010, it is an off-center fed dipole, is 66 feet long, that radiates on the entire band on 40, 20, most of the band on 10, and the bottom part of the band on 6. That's the reference station antenna. I've got a variety of other wire antennas. I need to do a roundup or something of wire antennas, the different ones that I've tried. Each has a slightly different advantage over the other and so on. But the reference station, I went with the one because it covered all of 40, so you can do FT8 and you can do sideband and so on. Okay, what about using ham sticks as tuned radials? Well, MFJ kind of does that with the octopus antenna. The problem with the octopus, of course, is it's so heavily loaded. The elements radiate just fine, but they're higher Q, so they don't cover the whole band. Use ground-mounted 6BTV with 36 radials, 14 gauge grounded, works great. What antenna did I order from Callum? I got there's one there called the Classic or something like that. I wanted the Classic DX Commander vertical, multi-band vertical, and so I got the one that has that. Let's just go look. We'll go to the screen and we'll go to DX Commander.com, index of, oh, come on, HTTPS / and that's not going to go through. Am I using the wrong? Let's just do a search on DX Commander. Did I mean DX Commander? Oh, it's M0. Nah, you ought to grab that. Okay, the DX Commander antenna store. Multi-band survival classic. This is it, the DX Commander Classic. HF multi-band vertical system. Okay, this listing is for the classic version of the HF vertical system antenna. So that is the one that I ordered, and I understand he's behind due to COVID issues, so I'll get it when I get it. I'll probably get it in the fall. Can you believe that it is already 30th of July? Okay, be putting up 5BTV here in an HOA, so I have my antennas end-fed half-wave antenna 80 through 10. That is the antenna I actually have active right now. It's the My Antennas 8010 end-fed half-wave, and it's what I'm using to test out this little G90 here that I borrowed from MFJ. Step-by-R changes bands unless the radials move with the antenna. No, not really. If the antenna is on the ground, you don't need tuned radials. If it's up in the air, it's going to be operating on a ham band, and if there's 2 tuned radials for that ham band, it will work well with that on that band. Now, obviously, in between ham bands, it won't work, or if you don't have radials up for it. 80 is really narrow, but your 5 should work great. Yeah, the step-by-R antenna does work well on 80 because it can change settings on that loading coil to load properly on that. How are the flying lessons coming along? Terrible, actually. I was down in Arizona about 2 weeks ago and bought an airplane. And see if I can find a picture of that airplane. Documents, flying, RANs. Here, let me go to screen and there, that's the airplane. It's a RANs. It's a kit-built airplane. The kit is from a company called RANS, R-A-N-S, and it is made in Hays, Kansas, and it is the S-6ES. The ES stands for Extended Spar on the wing. It's a two-seater. It is meets all the qualifications for a light sport aircraft. It is currently in Arizona. I'm going to go down to Arizona this week, starting on Sunday after church and then ending up down there Monday. I realize this is the hottest time of the year. It's supposed to be 117. So we're going to fly very early in the morning to try and get a little bit cooler weather. And I'm going to try and get as much training as I can down there, potentially going all the way to getting my sport pilot license. Thanks to Sean McGrath, I've already passed the written exam on that. Okay, let's see. The biggest advantage, yes. Okay, no comment. Had to pick up kid from work, all right. Rotax powered? No, it's powered by a Jabiru engine, 3300. It's 120 horsepower. Most of the RANs are Rotax powered. A Rotax, by the way, is a two-stroke engine. The last time I had a two-stroke engine was in a 1968, 69 AT1 Yamaha, which had the oil injection circuit on it. Okay, and JT6188 said he had an RV4 about 20 years ago. Okay, all right, let's get to some questions that we've got here. And okay, I'm going to put this one under the spotlight here, this first one, because this illustrates a problem. And I'm going to put it under the overhead, and then I'm going to go into the details for that camera control, and is that all the further it will go? That's all the further it will go. Okay, well, I'll hold it up so we can see it. Is it going to focus? Yes, it is. Okay, this is from Avraham Bernstein. Doesn't leave a call sign, but he is working with Chirp. He has picked up some RCA FM radios, and he has some Baofeng FM radios, and he's having trouble getting them to talk to each other. So what's going on here are a couple things. This is the RCA radio, and the power level, let's see, channel spacing is narrow. Now notice this frequency here, 466-21250. That needs to be put down into the ham band, of course, because that's outside the ham band. 450 is the top of the ham band. So you want to get these on frequencies inside the 70 centimeter band. Now, on these radios, they need a CTCSS tone to listen. If they hear something, they will not open the squelch unless they hear that tone. 131.8 hertz is a CTCSS tone. Okay. Now, if you're going to set up the Baofeng, you want to set it up identically. Of course, you want to get it in the ham band. And once you have it in the ham band, you set the CTCSS, sometimes just called the tone, for 131.8. And the you don't have to have it on receive. You can, but you need it on transmit to open up the RCA. So I think he got it only to work. He can hear the Baofeng, but not talk to it. I think it's because this has got the receive here. Now, you should not be using these frequencies outside the ham band. Okay? So I hope that answers that question. Oh, no. Just want to say thanks for the work you're doing in the extra videos. Yes, I'm up to 5.3. I got 5.3 up today. I'm getting multiple per day thanks to my assistant, who's finding all the differences between the old and the new book. So far, I've not encountered very many differences. Let's see. Thanks. Will the thermals from Arizona heat help with lift? No, actually, the opposite. It's very, very hot down there right now. There's something called the density altitude, which is the effective altitude due to the heat. The heat makes air less able to hold up an airplane because it's thinner. And fortunately, Phoenix is only 1,000 some odd feet above sea level, so the density altitude, even if it's 3,000 or 4,000 feet, is not an issue for the airplane. Although one time years ago, I was in Arizona, south of Phoenix, and I'm drawing a blank on the name of the city. It's the Tucson. I was at the Tucson airport. It was like 4 o'clock. We were going to get on like a 727, and fortunately I had United whatever status, and I got on the airplane because they had to drop about half the people because otherwise the airplane would not have gotten into the air. I mean, it was that hot. It was 114, I think. So a lot of people couldn't go out. Okay. Bought the Classic from Callum, yeah. Okay. Hot air isn't as dense, so yes, that's true. Less oxygen per volume too, so engine performance takes the hit. Yes, it does. At 100 some odd degrees, the density altitude in Arizona is still only 3,000 or 4,000 feet. So, okay. All right. So that's that. This next one here is from Mark. It says, "Hey Dave, I got a TYT UV8000E radio, which I reviewed about 2 years ago, I think. Just had it programmed and it won't transmit or receive anything, and when I key the mic, it just beeps." Well, I think what you're going to have to do is go back into that programming, but first I would do a factory reset. A factory reset will clear out any bad. There should be something in the instructions on how to do a factory reset. Takes it back to basics, wipes everything out, and then it should work for you. One of the problems, if it tries to transmit outside the ham band, you might get that beep. But you said it won't receive anything either. So I think do the factory reset and go through the programming again. That's one of the earlier Chinese radios, and so you may have to use TYT's programming software to do the programming. Let's just check right now and see if Chirp covers it. We'll go up here on the screen to Dan Planet. Chirp danplanet.com. Okay, and we've got the TYT down here, TYT UV8000DNE. Chirp will program it. Okay, so Chirp will program that radio. So that's what I would suggest doing, is going back to that. Okay, this is from Tony Proctor. It says, Dave, good morning. For several months I've tried to put in talk group 31088. While trying to make a contact, I was unsuccessful. Is this a good talk group? Because I never hear anything. Let's see what it is. 31088. We'll just do a search on talk group 31088. I don't know if we'll get anything or not. Talk with the Brennmeister. Colorado hotspot discussion. Development, construction, setup, and general discussion focused on hotspots. It's affiliated with the Colorado Multi-Protocol Group. Okay, and it's got some others. The answer is I don't know. I have never been on it. And it's DMR talk group. It's also bridged to D-Star, P25, and YSF, which are different things I don't know very much about. So let's go to, did I even go to the screen for that? Tell me if I went to the screen. Okay. Anyway, the talk group, the problem with the talk group is there are so many talk groups that some of them are put up for good, worthy purposes, but never see much use. And you can listen to them all day. And I don't think I did show that. So let's just go back up here on the screen to talk group 31088. And it is a Colorado hotspot discussion group. It's limited to one topic, and it's just in Colorado. So I really don't see that as being a terribly popular group, but who knows? Okay. You know, there's a old network law, the law of networks. The law of networks is the more people who are on a network, the more attractive the network gets. This you saw with Facebook. As Facebook grew, it became more valuable. The more people who were on Facebook, the more people who wanted to get on Facebook. Conversely, if there's hardly anybody on a network, it will die of inactivity. There won't be any activity. So this next one is from Joseph Rogers. I'm trying to use the website ke07og.com extra. Well, there's your problem right there. It's ke0og, and it's not com, it's net. So let's go to the overhead here. The website for the extra videos is ke0, that's a 0, og.net/extra. Okay, .net and ke0og. It does not have to be lowercase, it can be uppercase, but that middle one's a 0. And let me show you what that looks like. ke0og.net/extra, and you get this. And what this has in it is an introductory video that I haven't quite changed yet, but I got all these others changed. Here are the videos. Chapters 1 through 5.3 have been updated for the 12th edition. So I still have these to go, okay? And so if you go to like the one on Radio Mathematics, just click
It's
on
amazing what a fresh
it, and you
perspective
get
can
the
teach us.
actual
Like
video.
realizing fishing isn't about catching.
And there it is. Okay, so let me go back here and back here. Okay, so that is where you go to get the videos. ke0og.net/extra. Now, also, you can go to ke0og.net/general and get the general videos. And you can go to, and here's a slight difference, ke0og.net/training to get to the technician videos. Okay? And I'm trying hard. I'm going to be taking a couple-week hiatus, unfortunately, from updating them, but I really am trying to get them updated as quickly as I can. I will be here Saturday for Saturday's live stream, and I'm taking my laptop with me to Arizona, so I may be able to get on the live stream from Arizona on Thursday. And I'll tell you what all is happening. Let's see. Do factory reset. Tabula rasa, yes, the unwritten tablet. Do you have any commercial radios on ham? A lot of the Motorola is where the DMR stuff on ham radio came from. People who worked for Motorola had Motorola radios and wanted to bring DMR, which is designed for commercial and public safety use. So it's got a lot of extra features that hams really don't need. And it is a very complex format, but it does work well in ham radio. There's Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. Tier 1 and Tier 2 are implemented in amateur radio. Tier 3, which is a complex cross-switching type thing, is not implemented in ham radio. Okay. Oh, yeah, and with the Motorola, you need the CPS software to program it, and they charge for it. They charge a bloody fortune for it, hundreds of dollars. That's one of the reasons the Chinese have taken over, because the Motorola programming software is so expensive. Now, Chirp has not yet started programming the DMR radios. It's going to have to grapple with the digital revolution at some point. RT Systems does do a little bit of D-Star, but does not do DMR. I told the guy point blank when I saw him at the Albuquerque gathering that he's going to have to do it or he's going to get left behind. So, let's see. Slashing zeros. Well, yeah, it's a ham radio thing, too. It's been ham radio for many, many years. But, yeah. And they do that in, the commercial Morse and so on. Does solid or stranded wire have lower skin resistance? I would go with the stranded wire because it has more skin area. Yes, mainframes did stroke the zeros. I know that. Lintz wire is the cream of the crop. Ooh. Yeah, it's kind of like all surface, but it's Lintz wire. It does not have Lintz wire does not have much strength to it. It's ultra flexible. Let's see. Still slash my sevens, yes. Yes, and the old way in World War II for writing a 1, if you were a code copier, was to underline it. Zeros in license plates are stroked. Of course, on my Colorado license plate, I have KE0OG, and the 0 is stroked. I need to update my handheld. What do you recommend? Well, it depends on what you want to do with it. I have not come up with a standard radio, but take a look at the go to Bridgecom Systems and look at the 878 radio, the UV878 or D878UV, whatever it is. It's sort of like a top of the line DMR Chinese radio, and it's supported by Bridgecom. Be sure to get it from Bridgecom, please, because if you get it from any other source, you won't get support. But Bridgecom has all these training videos and stuff like that to help you. They call it DMR University to help you through the thing. Okay, just read today, and then you talk about Metcalfe's law. It says the network's value is proportional to the square of the number of nodes in the network. Yes. Stranded wire. The standard stranded on a THHN wire, meaning the kind of electrical house wire you'd buy at Home Depot, is 7 strands. And I use 12 gauge for antennas and stuff like that. I don't really like 12 gauge. It's hard to work with. 14 gauge would work as well. It's just that I happen to have a whole bunch of the 12 gauge. Okay, I know about, let's see, stroke my Zeds since German class in high school. Yes. Let's see. Any suggestions for Windows-based ham logging software? Something not too complex preferred. Try N3FJP. Let's go look at that on the screen. We'll look at N3FJP.com. And he has amateur radio software. The way he works it, he has something called Amateur Contact Log. Okay, this is his general purpose logging program. Then, in addition to that, he has a whole bunch of contest-specific logs. These are contest logs. Like, here's the one for Field Day. Where'd it go? Field Day right there. Now, the way this works, all you work with call, class, section, hit enter, and it's logged. And it will keep track of how many sections and so on. And it does this for all the different contests, but it is a separate piece of software. However, for some amount here, you can pay an amount, $50 for it, and you get all of his software and any upgrades for life. And he upgrades all his contest software just before every major contest. So it works really well. I don't yet have a reference station log. You can also look at the N1MM software, which is very much used by contesters. I prefer the all contact log for just routine contact logging. And yes, it interfaces with Logbook of the World. Okay. Richard says he's been learning a lot from the channel. Just getting into SDR, receive only. Richard, I don't know what class of license you have, but I would suggest if it allows you to get on the air, you do it. You'll learn a lot faster when you get on the air. That reminds me, I was supposed to email my club my field day logs from N3FJP. There is a website that you put that on, and yes, you may have missed the deadline, or it may be today or tomorrow. I'm not sure if they allowed through the end of July. Go check that. This is from Robert Witt KD2NJU. Hope all is well. Moved down to Florida and now live in a condo on the first floor. Due to HOA regulations, I really have no way to put antennas outside. Do you have any advice on using antennas indoors? If so, what ones and what distance would you need to be safely during transmissions? Well, if you're 20 meters, 40 meters, 80 meters, you're fine. You can practically sit right under the antenna. Now, if you have access to the outside from your apartment, if you have like a patio or something like that, you can set a mag mount out there while you're using it and then pull it in. Or you could try something like the buddy pole and just set it out on the grass while you're operating and then bring it down and pull it in, and I don't think you're going to get too much grief. I hope that would work for you. So Rob, good luck with that. This is from Matt KF0ASY. He has a couple Baofeng mobile radios. He's trying to figure out a way you can use APRS on this radio via an Android app. And he found a product, and I looked it up, and unfortunately I can't tell if that would work. I really can't. I'm sorry, if you could, you're going to have to ask club members or somebody like that how to make that work. Some of those mobile radios have GPS in them. The 578, which is the Anytone, has a GPS built in, so you can do GPS right from that. This next one is KJ7EHQ, and he says, what recording, video edit, and capture software and equipment do you use to make your recordings? Well, 3 different things. This is my good camera right here. This is a Panasonic Lumix DMC G7, commonly just simply known as a G7. And it looks like an SLR. It's not. It's actually an electronic viewfinder camera. It's a wonderful still camera, but it's even better on video. It's really designed more for video than it is for stills, and it's very popular among YouTubers as a camera to use. Now, for editing software, I use, let's see, I'll go to the screen, and then I'll open it up. It's Cyberlink Power Director, and I don't remember which version this is. Let's bring up a project that I just worked on today, Amateur Extra Video. And you can see here that it's very much like Adobe Photoshop, and that you've got tracks, and you can see the sound waves and so on, and I can add titles and all that sort of stuff to it also. And I've been using Power Director for a very long time. This is Power Director 365, which is the kind you pay an annual fee for. And it's version 18 of the software, 64-bit software. And I don't know if that messed with the audio while I did that. Hopefully it didn't. Now, to capture my screen, I use a piece of software. This is called Faststone Capture. And it has a thing right here, which is a screen recorder. And I've got to put the screen on so you can see it. It's down over here. It's got you can pick different parts of the screen and so on and capture them. So if I have charts or something like that, I will do that with this. And it works extremely well. And if you go to the website, this is Faststone, which is the image viewer. But if you go to Fast, S-T-O-N-E, so it's F-A-S-T-S-T-O-N-E, Faststone.com. It's a series of programs. And moving, don't tell me they're not there anymore. Faststone, let's just search for it. Okay, it's .org. These are the programs they have. An image viewer, which is free, although I pay for it because I use it for the channel. It's a fantastic image viewer, and it's so much more than an image viewer. I use this for all my modifications to photos that I use, resizing, cutting, adding text, all of that kind of thing. I always check the photo that it uses the full histogram, and, I can change colors and so on. Then Fast Stone Capture, which is shareware, it's not freeware. This will actually capture your screen or any part of it in a movie. And then they've got a couple more there that I don't use, but I do use this and I do pay for it because I use it regularly, very regularly, in putting programs together. So those are the software. Cyberlink Power Director, like any powerful video editor, has a learning curve, as does Fast Stone Capture for that matter. But once you get used to it, you're used to it. I don't use Adobe for film editing because it's too complex and costs too much. And it's not a nice, clean, well thought out product like Cyberlink Power Director is. Cyberlink does not advertise to the pro market. Adobe does. Cyberlink advertises to the consumer and what they call prosumer level. And that's the level I'm at. Okay. Been using QRZ for logging. That'll work. Okay. Small mag loops. If you're using WS-JTX and N3FJP, you can run JT along with them. Yes, and the calls will automatically be logged. There is some setup that you need to do. Wire diameter being equal for mag loop, stranded or solid wire for mag loop. Get the tubing, copper tubing or something like that for the mag loop. You want maximum surface area. Okay. If you pick one handheld ham transceiver, what would it be? It would be the Anytone D878UV Plus, which has the Bluetooth and the GPS in it. Now, I know that's about a $200 transceiver. It's high-end. It's a very nice radio. Very nice radio indeed. It does DMR, too. How hard is it to set up? Well, anything can be hard to set up. But if you get it from Bridgecom Systems, they've got all these video tutorials you can go through. Made an APRS dedicated radio for the truck. An old Kenwood commercial radio, built-in Digipeater and TNC works great. Good deal. JT Alert is a piece of software that bridges the gap. It's supposed to do fancy things to alert you to what's coming in. I've never used it for that. I've only used it because it's the glue between WS-JTX and the N3FJP all contact log. This is from Mike Davis, and he sends a URL. Let's check it out on the screen. I know this is kind of tiny here, but I'll try. DX Engineering. Whoops. DX Engineering. It's this one right here. It's dxe-LLSP. A ladder line surge protector. Okay, so they're actually now they've just started selling this. From what I understand, it's for one of these things, it's reasonably priced. I know that seems kind of expensive, but when you start getting into the grounding stuff, it gets a little bit expensive. But thank you, Mike, for providing that URL to me. Okay, let's go back here. We have 121 concurrent viewers, 38 likes, and so far $14 in chat revenue. Where did you get that clock widget on your desktop? I thought Windows dropped support for widgets like that. Yes, they have. And I basically ignore that. Let's see if I can get a name. It's the number 8 and then gadget pack. 8 gadget pack without any spaces in it. And I want this. I've got another little widget down here which tells me how loaded the machine is. The ones that I use are the analog clock. I'm an old-fashioned guy. I like an analog clock. And a calendar, because I can never remember the date. So that's where I got that. Any cheat sheets for studying formulas in the extra exam? Oh, I think you're going to be fine if you just go through and understand the questions. Made an APRS, yeah, okay, good. Let's see, I believe you just have to define your USB codecs and fire it up. Still such a thing as shareware? Yes. Yes, you can download it, play with it. If you keep it more than 30 days, you're supposed to pay for it. I use Log4OM, which is powerful logging software and free. Okay, very good. Try a ham test prep app on Google Play Store. Practice tests, good. You can also get them for free just by going to the ARRL website. Swapped out JT Alert for Grid Tracker. Okay. It's good software. What's the app? Those are very nice gadgets. And Bob, thank you very much. Thanks for answering my ground rod question. Very good. Thank you. Use APRSDroid for Android phones and tablets. There's all kinds of stuff out there. Okay, this is from Kenny Plotnick, K2KRP. Follow you regularly and love it. Thank you for all the great information. Quick question. Do you recommend a simplex or duplex hotspot? I think a lot of them will do either way. I think they only allow, the ones I've seen, you can transmit to it or listen from it, so that's simplex. This one that I have, I call it the San Diego hotspot. It's from NextGen. Let me get back to the normal view. Sorry. This is the hotspot I have. I call it the San Diego hotspot. It's, which way? Look at it this way. NextGen. You can see that across there. NEX-gen. And it is at hamradio1.com. Hamradio and the number 1.com. Hamradio.com is Ham Radio Outlet. Hamradio1.com is that. Hamradio2.com is a consortium of up-and-coming YouTubers. Okay, and Bob, thank you very much for the super chat. How do you get your own grid for your own location? You look it up. You look up Maidenhead Grid Locator. Maidenhead, Maidenhead, Maidenhead Grid Coordinator. Okay, let's see. Which QRP radios do I like? Well, it depends what for. I have so many of them. If you want something simple to put together that's relatively inexpensive, go to hfsigs.com, hfsigs.com, and order from India. About $200, you get the case with it, and there's actually no soldering to put it together. So you can put the thing together in an evening very quickly, and you've got a very nice all-band CW. You can do FT8, you can do SSB, all that on any of the ham bands 80 through 10. So nice little radio, not 5 watt, Okay, this is from Alex McKenzie, who said that he is one of the folks who had a question garbled, and he wants me to know that he really did fill out all the fields properly. And I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on with that website that it does that from time to time. Intermittent problems are really hard to figure out. Okay, he wants to build an antenna that is got a preamp in it for receive only, and he wants to be able to tune it so he doesn't get a whole bunch of garbage pushing in. You know what you might want to look at is just getting a mag loop, a transmitting type mag loop, because they're very high Q, and they will not pick up much of anything off of what they're tuned to. And so if you tune to a station, or you can tune a small segment of the band like the FT8, something like that. But stuff that's outside the band, actually stuff that's very far away from the FT8, that antenna is going to be deaf to it. That might be something to look at. And then you'll get the narrow bandedness that you want on the thing. He has a curiosity about the OCF dipoles, like the Wyndham. The Wyndham is not an OCF dipole, it's center fed, I think. But when they're off center fed, I did a video on this. The impedance at that point where it's being fed is about 400 ohms. No, 200 ohms. So there's a 4-to-1 balun there. Take it from 50 to 200. And that's how it's fed at that point. You can feed a dipole anywhere. If you happen to feed it at 1/3 of the way in, you get some real nice properties. It works on that band, the band above it, that's the harmonic multiple, and maybe even other bands above that. You can also end feed them, which is like that My Antennas that's end fed, and does very well on lots of different bands. So, this next one's from Thomas A Johnson KE8VK. I have a new laptop computer with only 2 USB ports and 1 audio out port, a Rig Blaster Plus from West Mountain Radio, and an ICOM 746 Pro. Using fldigi or other software programs, I am unable to get the transmitter to key. I can copy using the speaker. For a radio of that vintage, you're going to have something like the Signal Link USB, which will also key the radio. But the problem becomes all those USB ports. Let me show you what you need. This right here. You can pick this up at Office Depot. This is made by Targus. It has, and you can see the blue in here, so this is USB 3.0, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4 outlets on the thing. So it's a 1, 2, 4. It's basically a port expander, okay, and you've got those extra USB ports. I don't use this anymore because I now have a desktop computer that has scores, not literally scores, but bunches of USB 3.0 inputs, so I don't need this anymore. But this right here will solve your problem. This was about $40, I think, at Office Depot, and it's unpowered. It's powered by the USB port itself. So you can get powered ones if you want more, but that'll give you more USB ports. And of course you can plug old legacy USB 2.0 stuff into this and it'll work. So that should help you with that situation. Okay, Bob Taylor has contributed to the chat revenue. Let's see, try a Hermes light, full SDR transceiver, okay. Yeah, and not very much output, about 5 watts. Just got my 13-meter crappy rod from China. Ordered in, yeah, it takes a long time unless you airship it. And can you mount the cobweb antenna on the 2 pieces of chain link fence top rail? Yes, you can. It is strong enough to do that. Carolina Wyndham is off center. Okay, thank you for that. I have a 20-meter Shakespeare rod. Nice rod for dipoles. Very good. A doublet's a very nice dipole. Yes, but you need a wide range tuner for it. Okay, oh my goodness, we're running out of time. I have this is from Terry Ramey K4TLR. I have an ICOM IC7300 and an Ameritron AL811 amp, which is not made for QSK. QSK means rapid switching between send and receive while sending Morse code. It means that you can hear the other station between your dits and das in there. And those tube amps generally are not made for QSK. I like using Vox, and the amp will work that way, but with a lot of loud clicking as the Vox kicks in and out. Will this harm the amp or the amp relays in any way? Yes, it will. You can do it from time to time, but I would recommend that you get a foot switch and use that to key the transmitter. You've got the 7300. You're going to have, it comes with the radio. It plugs into the auxiliary on the back of that thing. And one of the wires that comes, it's a fan out, is push to talk. And you can connect a foot switch. And that instead of using the Vox, because you know when you're going to talk, so you just hold the foot switch down. That will work too. How do you get Super Chat? If you look where you can type something in, a comment, there's also a little smiley face there. That's so that you can add smiley face type icons. And the one next to it in kind of a rectangle is a $sign. That's Super Chat. And you can use that. If you have chat popped out, it won't appear, but it is there. Okay. And we're going to have to stop there. We are out of time. Sadly, I really enjoy these live streams. We'll look at the rest of these questions on Saturday and see what we can do. So the net is I will be here Saturday. I very likely will be on Thursday night from the motel room in Arizona. And again, on the Saturday, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see about that. I'll know by that Thursday whether I'll be on that Saturday. And we'll just keep this up. And I'm trying really hard to get those amateur extra videos updated. Of course, the general and the tech are available on the thumb drives. I've taken down the PayPal button for the extras because they're now out of date, and I need to get all of them done, and then we'll put that back up. So thank you all very much for joining. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk with friends. This is just absolutely great, and we'll continue it. So we'll see you on Saturday, and until we next meet, 73.